right, Nick, let's talk about the way Boogie's going to fit into this Warriors team. What is a realistic role for him on this team?
Oh, I mean, I think a realistic role is, at the very least, in the stretches where KD and Steph are both off the court, you can play him and Clay in a two-man game where you still have two dominant offensive players and the offense can run through Boogie. I think he will get 10 minutes a game where the offense runs through him. Now, that'll be different than what he's used to, which is he's used to almost all the minutes he's on the court, the offense running through him, even when he was playing with Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis isn't a guy that, like, you run post-ups for necessarily. He kind of gets his scoring off other people's action. So I think he'll still get that to a degree. I also think Boogie will be a guy who, if a team tries to go small against the Warriors like Houston did in the playoffs, that if they don't want to put out their small ball lineup at that point in time, if they want to rest Iguodala's legs, if they don't want to ask Draymond to play center, you can put Boogie out there and basically force the other team out of their small ball lineup. I just think there were very few spots Golden State was vulnerable last season. The minutes Steph and Clay were off the court, the minutes the other team could out small ball your small ball. And Boogie fits in perfectly to fix those few weaknesses they had. So once he's healthy, which I think will be sooner than a lot of people think, I don't think that he'll have any problem fitting into that role as long as he knows that's the role.
Yeah, most professional teams, they want an opportunity at some point that I can be bigger, stronger, and more powerful than you. The Warriors, they don't have that. Even the death lineup, that lineup presents problems for people. But power, strength, if they can go to a post game, they will have a certain number of sets where they will go and feed the post. Also, let's not forget who Boogie Cousins is. You're talking about pick and roll, but the pick and pop. All right? He's going to have so many opportunities to pick and pop and shoot that open jump shot, which is part of his game. Also, if you go back and watch the Warriors game, especially during the regular season, they have at least 20 possessions. They're wasted. Like, the first guy up the court, the first shot they get, they take it. And to me, it's part of their plan. But in real basketball, you could give that possession to anyone. So for me, there's so many possessions that they could take those out and just give those to Boogie. Just run plays for Boogie, because this is what the Warriors are going to do. They're not going to have Boogie, hey, Boogie, just go out there and fit in. No, right. Boogie is not that type of player. You have to call his number. You have to throw him the ball. You have to have him involved. You have to massage his ego. So all those things have to come into play. I see him playing 20 to 28 minutes for Golden State as a starter. I'm not thinking about them times that Steph is not on the court and KD's not on the court. Boogie is going to want a significant role with this team, and it starts from being in the starting lineup. When they say when they call him out there, Boogie wants to be a part of that. So if that doesn't happen, that's going to be a problem. So I believe they have to massage his ego more than any of the other players they've ever had there.
And Kerr, by the way, has said he will start. He said no disrespect Kevon Looney, but once Boogie's healthy, he'll start. Go ahead, Jim.
Piggybacking off what you just said, so that's how he fits into the basketball aspect of it. How does he fit into their culture on this Golden State team, the winning culture that everyone on this team, top to bottom, already knows and has adopted?
Listen, he's got to. They don't have to change anything culture-wise for him. You're mentioning offensively things they can do to make him feel welcome, to get him involved. They got to change. They will change some things there, even though he fits in well. He's a great passer as a center. He's a good three-point shooter as a center, as CC mentioned. But he's got to buy into that. That is the only question I have. That's the only reason I believe that anyone could say this won't be a good move, is if they think Boogie simply doesn't have it in him. I think his time in Sacramento, that was such a dysfunctional organization. He was a part of it, but he wasn't the only part of the reason it was dysfunctional. He never had, forget an all-star teammate, he never had a top 100 player in the league teammate when he was in Sacramento. And then in New Orleans, we didn't hear a ton about New Orleans saying he was a problem. He might not have been a solution, but we didn't hear people complaining about Boogie once he was in New Orleans.
But it's hard to be a great player and the team play better when you're absent. All right? It's hard to have a guy who can get 25 and 10, and the team actually got better when he was on the bench. The thing about Boogie Cousins is when you throw Boogie the ball, Boogie looks at who's on him, and Boogie's like, man, I could boogie on this dude. So that's not going to change. Why would I pass the ball when I can Hey, coach, I can score on this guy. In Golden State, inside their offense, they have complete liberty. If they want to, they can take the guy off the bounce. They can take any shot that they want. Now, are they going to extend that to Boogie? Because that's what Boogie's had every other place he's been.
But don't you think, as a center, he's a really good passer? Averaged 5.5 assists a game last year. He was doing that with worse teammates.
Yeah, but you don't get a max deal for your assist.
For sure, but don't you? I guess I believe Boogie knows. I would think he knows that the max deal isn't going to be based on his numbers this year. That everyone knows the numbers are going to be. I wouldn't,
Nick. You give a lot of credit to guys for stuff they should know. Well, if he should know, because I typically say it, people know better, they do better. Well, Boogie hasn't really taken that.
So he shouldn't have gone to Golden State if his numbers were as big a priority.
I mean, we're just assuming that all of a sudden he's just going to be totally bought into, hey, me scoring the basketball, me not getting in double figures, like that's not going to matter. It is going to matter because he's looking for a max deal. He's not trying to win. He's trying to get a max deal. Golden State's going to win with him or without him.
I thought Boogie was, I'd be more concerned. I'm not acting like I'm not concerned at all. I'd be more concerned if I didn't think Boogie, as his teams have gotten better, his behavior has gotten better. If he was the same malcontent in New Orleans as he was in Sacramento, I would be more concerned. This is the most winning he will have done anywhere in his career. How
has he done in his press releases, statements? Since
he's very stable.
Now he's on the best team that's ever created. So you said he got better as the team got better. Well, what happened in the transition?
Let him be around.
The documentary with Showtime, like he's being a jerk, like to the camera, but I don't know that means that's who he's going to be on the court or with his teammates. I'm not saying it's not, but I just don't think you can draw that conclusion. I don't think it's fair to.
Oh, no, I can draw the conclusion. How Boogie has been since he was at Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Because I know the coaches.
No doubt. But
okay.
I'm saying.
And also how he's been as a pro, because I know some of the people that have worked with him.
I don't mind any of that.
Boogie has serious issues.
Agreed. The only thing, the thing that I'm saying you can't draw the conclusion from is the Showtime documentary. If you want to talk about his college and pro career, that's totally fair. I think guys put on for the camera at times. I don't really care about what a guy says in the Showtime documentary. But his track record, it's all fair game. That's why, listen, I told you that an NBA front office guy hit me up and said, I think this is terrible for the Warriors. I think it's the only mistake they could have made. They didn't need him, and coaches don't like him. He's bad in the locker room, all these things. I'm a believer in the talent.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.